Hey everyone. I just got off a group call with my clients. We have our weekly group calls and we dig into different topics each week. And this week was a pretty heavy call. We ended up talking a lot about trauma stuff. We ended up talking a lot about dog training industry specific stuff and how damaging some of it is. And one of the things that we ended up talking about, which is why I'm here, hopping on here to talk to you guys about this, is we ended up talking about the unregulation of the industry, of the coaching industry, and about how damaging that can be, and that currently is, specifically in the dog training industry right now. There is a lot of damaging shit going on in dog training business coaches right now. But not just in the dog industry. There's a lot of damaging shit going on in the coaching industry in general. And this week has been particularly heavy for me with clients talking about, colleagues' experiences with other coaches, and also just seeing a lot of my own colleagues in the coaching industry and their shitty negative experience with other coaches in the industry too. And so I wanted to come in here and just talk about that because I want to talk about the dog training specific one first, but this stands for every industry. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. But for those of you in the dog industry, there's a lot of damaging stuff going on right now around coaching, and there's a lot of normalizing of traumatizing as healing. And there's a lot of shitty messaging going on around if you are not willing to or not able to talk about your trauma, or not willing and not able to sit and listen to someone else's trauma, that somehow you're broken, and that somehow you need to work more on your skills, and that somehow you need to fix yourself, and that whatever is going on in your life is your fault. And if you've got trauma, it's your fault. You attracted it. If you've got cancer, it's your fault. You attracted it. Like, those kind of really shitty, damaging messages are going around right now. And I want to just come in here and say, here's why it's damaging. One, it re-traumatizes you. To sit and listen to someone, it re-traumatizes you. To sit and if you're not in a space to do that, if you're not in a space to hold that space, if you're not in a space to be able to safely talk about your own trauma stuff, that can be re-traumatizing too. To be shamed about not being able to do that is re-traumatizing. But what it also does, so you've got all of the re-traumatizing that's happening, but what I'm also seeing a lot of specific in the dog industry is women who are not willing to reach out and get help from other coaches because of their experience, because of the damage that gets done. And it's totally reasonable where that comes from. If you've, gone to a coach, you've worked with a coach, you've been in a program and it has traumatized you, or it has done damage, or it has been not what you were expecting, and you have been shamed, and you have not been allowed a safe place to learn about your business stuff, and your personal stuff, I totally understand why you wouldn't want to reach out to anybody else after that, because it's a fuck all this shit. Like, if this is what coaching is, I want no part of it. And so what I really want you guys understanding is that kind of bullshit that's going on is not okay. It's not okay for someone who isn't a therapist, who doesn't have the coaching or the training around it, who doesn't have the skill set around it, to sit and walk you through your own trauma stuff and to tell you that it's your fault. That's not okay. That's victim blaming. And that's really not fucking okay. It's not okay for someone to shame you for where you're at in your healing, to shame you for where you're at in your journey. Shame is not an effective use of behavior change. We know that as behavioral practitioners. Shame is not effective and is really damaging. And so if you are thinking about being in, have a friend who was in, have a colleague who was in a coaching program where shame is used, where, and when I talk about shame being used, you're told that if you don't do X, Y, Z, then, your skills are lacking, your leadership is lacking, your, whatever is lacking. That's shame, right? If you feel like you are being forced to talk about something that you're not ready to talk about, that you're not even talking about with your therapist, that's not okay. I really don't want that to be normalized and is becoming normalized. People are walking away from these programs feeling like there's something wrong with them because they are not able to do these things that, these coaches are telling them they should be able to do or they should be doing or whatever. And so here's my views and thoughts on what an effective coaching program is. You can't have business coaching without personal growth. You just can't do it. Like, we know that. But that personal growth is going to look different for everybody. And if you're being told that you need to talk about the worst things that ever happened to you in order to heal and move forward in your business, I disagree with that. Do I think talking about it can be an important part of healing? Fucking absolutely it can. With a trained therapist, in a safe space where you are ready to talk about it and you're bringing it up because it's there and you are wanting to talk about it and it will help you in your healing, not because you're being told that you should and that your skills are lacking if you don't. Personal growth is a part of business growth. You're not going to have your business growth without the personal growth, but personal growth does not need to be traumatic. You don't need to trigger your PTSD to have personal growth. You don't need to trigger your PTSD or trigger yourself or end up forcing yourself to sit through things that are actually traumatic in order to grow and have healing. There's a massive difference between lean into the fear and do a scary thing and do something that's uncomfortable. That is not the same as re-traumatize yourself. Okay? Lean into fear and do the hard and scary things with support is not the same as vomit your trauma everywhere when you're not ready to, or listen to someone else vomit their trauma when you're not ready to. So please, if that's been your experience, I really want you to hear, if the only thing you take from this video is that that's not okay, please take that. That's not okay. That's not what business coaching should be. That's not what's going to give you business growth. That's not what's going to give you personal growth. And in fact, that can be really, really damaging in the long term. And also, I want you to understand that that's not what coaching is. I've had so many people reach out to me who have been in previous coaching programs where they've had a lot of damage done and they're like, fuck all that noise, I'm never working with a coach again. Or they reach out to me really, really scared because they know that they need help, but they think that coaching means being shamed. They think that coaching means I have to sit in a group of other people and share my deepest, darkest secrets. And that's not what it is at all. And if that's what you're being told coaching is, that's fucking bullshit. And you don't need to sit there for that. And it doesn't matter how much money you paid for that. It doesn't matter whether, you've committed to it or not. If there's something that is not safe for you, if there's something that's going to re-traumatize you, if there's something that's going to be damaging and dangerous to you, you don't need to do that, because uncomfortable and unsafe are not the same thing. And I'm all about uncomfortable. I'm all about uncomfortable because we grow from a place of discomfort, and leaning into the uncomfortable stuff is what helps us grow, but not unsafe, right? Not a place that is not safe for you on an emotional level. So that's not what coaching is. And if you've been in that experience, or you have a colleague who's been in that experience, and you're hearing, me talk about coaching stuff and me talking about uncomfortable stuff and me talking about trauma stuff, it's not the same. I'm not going to force you to sit and talk about your stuff. The space is there, if it comes up, fantastic. But I'm not a therapist. Coaches are not therapists, and we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be therapizing people. We shouldn't be putting together therapy programs. We shouldn't be trying to heal people's trauma. And even my trauma programs are built with the help of a therapist, are built with boundaries in place around what I can do and what I can't do to help. And you will hear me say over and over and over and over again, and you need to go get a therapist, and you need to work with the therapist. That is a part of what makes my program so different. Is I'm not doing therapy with you guys. I'm not a therapist. I'm sharing tools and skills and perspectives that facilitate healing. But to talk about that real in-depth stuff, to share that really scary, vulnerable, actual what happened trauma stuff, I'm there if that's the space that you need for that to be, but really you need a therapist for that. So please do not think that coaching and therapy are the same thing. Please do not think that you need to go in-depth into your deepest, darkest fucking secrets in order to get business help, because you don't. Please do not think that it's normal to be shamed for not wanting to talk about your deepest, darkest, scary things, because that's not normal and that's not okay. And that's not what coaching is. And if that is your experience with coaching and you're like, fuck all that shit, I'm not working with the coach, I'm not reaching out to anybody. You say the word mindset, I'm out. You say the word trauma, I'm out. You say the word group coaching, I'm out. If that's your experience with it, I totally get where it's coming from. I would totally be in that place too of I'm out if that had been the program that I was in. But what I want you really recognizing is there's help out there that doesn't look like that. There's help out there that can actually get you business results and personal growth results without re-traumatizing you. And if you're on the fence, it's so interesting to me. This morning, 3 of my clients on our group call actually said, I was really scared that you were going to be like that other program, that you were going to be like all the shit that I was hearing about in the industry. And I'm really glad that I stuck with you because I know now that it's not like that. And that really made me start thinking about how many of you might be sitting here in this group and really needing help and not just scared in the normal, quote unquote, normal sense of I'm scared about the hard work, I'm scared about the money, I'm scared about the time, but scared of being traumatized, scared of being shamed. And so I want to just speak to that because that's not okay. And if that's where you're sitting and that's where you are, I understand, I get it. I would be in that same place too. And also there are safe spaces out there and it might not be me. Maybe we're not a fit, right? But please don't just write off getting help because of a negative experience, even a big negative experience of that size. Because there is help available that is safe. There is help available that can get you the results that you want without damaging you. And please don't give up on trying to find that help. Please don't give up on trying to find that safe space. Ask questions, talk about it, share your experience in terms of, I didn't like this about the coaching program. And so I don't want that to be, a part of the work that I have to do. Ask all the questions that you need to ask to make sure that the person that you're reaching out to and going to be getting help from is a safe space. Get that help. Ask those questions, get that clarity. Please don't give up on getting help because help is available. And it makes me really angry to think about all of the women who are sitting too traumatized to reach out and get help because someone is taking their unprocessed trauma and turning it into a coaching program. So if you're in that position, if you're sitting in that space of like, I really need help, and I don't think you'd be in this group if you weren't. If you need help business-wise, if you need help moving through, what's going on in your head to get to a place, if you need help moving through fear to get to a place of business growth, that's why you're here. I'm going to ask that you lean into uncomfort or discomfort, not safety, but lean into discomfort and ask the questions that you need to ask to show yourself that not all coaches are the same. The industry is not about just traumatizing people. And that's not okay. Let's not normalize that. I'm going to pop a link to my clarity calls in the comments here. And those calls, there's no obligation on those calls. I'm not going to like browbeat you into a program that you're not right for. I'm not going to browbeat you into I'm not going to bully or shame you into something that's not right for you. It's a chance for you. I want to open these calls up to be a chance for you to have a conversation around what coaching looks like and around what your needs are and around what your experience has been, if you want to talk about that. To really discover that it's not all the same, to really discover that there is a place where you can get help without being damaged, without being re-traumatized, and ask the questions that you need to ask. And if you want to do that publicly instead, if you want to do that here, ask the question on this thread. Let's talk about it publicly. If privately works better for you, let's have a call. But if you want me to answer questions around, trauma healing or how my programs work, obviously I'm not going to just give you the info around what we work on and give away my programs for free. But if you want to learn about the space and you want to learn about what kind of stuff is expected and you want to learn about what kind of help you can get and you have questions around that, pop them in the box. Let's talk about it. And I'm going to put this video on my page and I'm going to send it out in an email too. Pop it in the question on my page. Reply to the email and ask. Let's have a conversation about it because things being transparent, things being open, things being honest, and like transparent is the best word I can think of. That's what's needed. Help is available for you guys. Help is available and life-changing. And I really would hate for you to stay in a place of fear and stay in a place of being stuck because you had a shitty experience with a coach. It's kind of like, we have a shitty relationship and we take some time to lick our wounds and we take some time to heal, but we don't just give up on relationships in general. We don't give up on friendships because someone hurts us. We don't give up on relationships because someone hurts us. But we do give up on toxic relationships, right? We do not go into relationships that are going to be toxic and damaging and traumatizing for us, but we don't give up on relationships in general. And it's the same with coaching. So please give up on toxic coaching. Do not, be in programs that are traumatizing for you. Do not be in programs that are not going to be helpful for you and that are going to do damage. But please don't give up on getting help, because the two are not mutually exclusive. You don't need to damage yourself to get help. And if you're being told that, that's fucking bullshit. So please comment here. Let me answer your questions. I'll post a link for my call. Let's have a chat. If you get this in email, reply. Let me know what's there. Let's have open, honest, transparent conversations about it, because that is really important. That is a part of the antidote to shame, is transparency and empathy and honesty. All right, guys, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. It's hard, it's scary, it's shitty and hard, and really, really important. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, bye.